Thank you, Michelle, for your inspiring, powerful speech. I'm honored to be part of Global. It is a privilege to be here alongside Katerina and you as we introduce Congresswoman Deanna DeGette. Thank you, Congresswoman DeGette, for your remarkable leadership. You're a steadfast believer in our value. You advocate for our inclusion in society. Your commitment includes fighting for ongoing NIH funding and improved access to health care. You also serve as a lead co-sponsor together with Congressman Richard Hudson on the DeAndre Dixon Include Project Act. So can we all say, DeAndre Dixon Include Project Act? Can we all say that together?
The DeAndre Dixon Include Project Act.
I can't hear you up here. I need you to be louder.
The DeAndre Dixon Include Project Act.
DeAndre Dixon and Jamie Foxx's sister was my friend. This legislation stands as her legacy to our community. It holds a special meaning for me, especially as I grow. Next year, I'll be growing 50. Due to the efforts of leaders like you, more people with Down syndrome are able to live healthier lives and pursue their aspirations. As Officer Spock famously said, live long and prosper. Can we all say, live long and prosper?
Live long and prosper.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, David. As many of you know, my daughter Pippa has Down syndrome, and one of the first people that I spoke to when I was learning about her diagnosis was Michelle. And so naturally, Michelle welcomed me in to become a spokesperson for the Transformational Global Down Syndrome Foundation, and I am thrilled to be here. Becoming Pippa's mom changed the way I see everything. Pippa has taught me that inclusion, dignity, healthcare, and opportunity are not abstract ideas. They shape real lives, they shape real families, they shape real futures. And that is why leaders like Congresswoman Deanna DeGette matter so much. For years, Congresswoman DeGette has been a tireless champion for healthcare, medical research, and inclusion. She co-authored the landmark 21st Century Cures Act. That's a big one. That's like super important. And as David mentioned, she is leading the charge in getting the DeAndre Dixon Include Project Act passed this year. She also mentored Michelle and has worked alongside Global to help ensure NIH continues investing in people with Down syndrome for years to come. What I appreciate most about Diana is that she gets things done and makes life better in immediate and tangible ways. The Down syndrome community is so deeply grateful. So please join David and me in welcoming Congresswoman Deanna DeGette.
Thank you so much, Katerina, for that lovely, lovely introduction. And also thank you, David, for everything. And thank you mostly for holding the award, so I don't have to hold it. I have to say thank you to my homie, Michelle C. Whitten, who is the president and CEO of Global. She really is a change maker, and I don't see very many of those. So let's give her a big, big round of applause. I have to make a special mention to John C., whose 90th birthday party I just attended in Denver. It was almost as nice as this event tonight. And also his son-in-law Tom and Sophia, Sophia, who you've heard of, for whom all of this started. I was really shocked to learn that at the time Sophia was born, Down syndrome research was an annual $18 million. Shocking. And so Michelle came to me because she's my constituent, so she came to me and she said, what do I do? And we worked together, and she just took off like a rocket ship to advocate for more funding for the NIH and to work with leaders in Congress. And now, thanks to Global's advocacy, we're seeing a reemergence in Down syndrome research. I'm committed, but so are my colleagues who you heard of tonight on both sides of the aisle, to working with Global and all of you incredible champions to make sure that this research continues and that we add many, many more years than 10 years onto everybody's lives. I want to talk for a minute about this award. Established in 2009, the Quincy Jones Exceptional Advocacy Award is the Global Down Syndrome Foundation's highest honor. And I was deeply, deeply honored to receive this prestigious award last year. So now I have the incredible honor of introducing one of this year's recipients, my good friend and distinguished colleague on the Energy and Commerce Committee, Paul Tonko, who is working side by side with me, Chairman Guthrie, who's here tonight, and so many of us on these issues. Chairman Tonko has been a vocal and active champion for people with Down syndrome, including, as you heard, leading on the Deandra Dixon NIH Include Project Act. This legislation helps us reaffirm our commitment to fostering the kind of innovative research that will benefit all individuals living with Down syndrome. Since its launch in 2018, the NIH Include Project has awarded 575 unique Down syndrome research grants across 18 NIH institutes because, as you know, it takes this cross-institute research. Named in memory of Deandra Dixon, one of Global's most beloved and accomplished self-advocates who tragically passed away in 2020 at only the age of 36, the legislation honors her legacy and it honors the lives of all individuals with Down syndrome. I really have to thank Michelle for stealing my thunder, like she said she was going to, when she announced that the Energy and Commerce Committee will take up this critical legislation again tomorrow in our markup. And I want to thank Paul for this. I'm the ranking Democrat on the Health Subcommittee, so I also have to thank our wonderful chairman, Brett Guthrie, a Republican who's here tonight, who allowed us to bring this up. Thank you so much, Brett. Paul Tonko has long been a leader for people with Down syndrome and also in the national fight against Alzheimer's disease and a champion for those living with Alzheimer's and their loved ones. As it turns out, and most of you know this, but most of the world does not know this, so it bears repeating. The science of Down syndrome and the science of Alzheimer's disease are complementary. Thanks to the work of tireless researchers and advocates, we're learning more than we ever have about the brain, and that knowledge will help all of us, people with Down syndrome, people with Alzheimer's, our friends, our families, and our neighbors. Representative Tonko has worked tirelessly on NIH funding, support for people with disabilities, improving mental health care, and advocating for people with Down syndrome. He knows when we invest in science and inclusion, we create better futures for everyone. I am so proud to call him my colleague, but more importantly, I'm so proud to call him my friend and my fierce fighter for these issues. On behalf, you can clap for Paul. So Paul, on behalf of Global Down Syndrome Foundation, I'm deeply honored to present you with the Global's highest honor, the Quincy Jones Exceptional Advocacy Award. Paul?
Thank you, Diana. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. David, thank you. Okay, thank you. Good to be with you. Okay. Listen.
Yeah, don't drop it.
Well, good evening, everyone. What a wonderful group of individuals who just give it their all for Down syndrome. So thank you so much. It's an honor to be with each and every one of you. And I thank my good friend and colleague, Diana DeGette. Thank you for your very kind words, Diana, and for the generous introduction, and for your steadfast leadership on the Deandra Dixon Include Project Act. I'm proud to join you in that fight. And thank you to Michelle C. Witten, not only for the kind words, but for your visionary leadership of the Global Down Syndrome Foundation, which over the past 17 years has helped improve the lives of so many by driving investments in research and medical care, in education and advocacy for the Down syndrome community. If I heard it once, I heard it several times already this evening, that Michelle is a force of nature. People brought that expression out with every conversation I had about Michelle. So let's hear it for the force of nature. And thank you as well to the AcceptAbility Gala Board for putting together such a fabulous evening. Thank you to everyone in the research and clinical communities who work tirelessly to deliver support and compassion and hope for the Down syndrome community day in and day out. And most importantly, thank you to all of the self-advocates in the room and the families and friends that support them. You are why we are here, and you are who we are fighting for. I am humbled and honored to accept the Quincy Jones Exceptional Advocacy Award this evening, but I am even more humbled to be in the presence of such a strong and vibrant community of advocates and activists working to build a brighter future for the Down syndrome community. Now, the Down syndrome community is one that I have gotten to know very well through engagements in my district in upstate New York, like the Buddy Walk, and through advocacy efforts here in DC, and certainly with neighbors across the street who are part of a community home. And in my interactions with people that have Down syndrome, I'm always reminded of a couple of key things. That through our uniqueness, we each bring our own God-given strengths, perspectives, and abilities to the table. And that people living with Down syndrome have the same wants, the same needs, and same desires as everyone else. Those desires begin with living a life filled with dignity and respect, and always the hope and promise that tomorrow will bring a brighter future. In Congress, you have my ironclad commitment to continue to be that agent of hope for the Down syndrome community. With the leadership of partners like Global, we have made incredible strides in advancing Down syndrome research at the NIH, with a record of $140 million invested in Down syndrome research through the Include project of fiscal year 2025, a more than 700% increase since Global began its advocacy in 2009. Yeah, that is an applause line, isn't it? These are more than numbers on a page. This funding represents a sustained commitment to tangibly improving the lives of individuals with Down syndrome. Already, these investments have led to major breakthroughs in how Down syndrome interacts with other health conditions that have a high incidence in the community, such as immune system disorders, or liver dysfunction, or sleep apnea, or cancer, or Alzheimer's, and more. These are all steps in the right direction, but our mission remains. With the help of everyone in this room, and especially our friends living with Down syndrome, who are so good at bringing people of all political persuasions together, I know we will get to a world filled with brighter tomorrows. Thank you again for the tremendous honor. I look forward to standing with you all in this fight. I want to share this recognition with my coworkers who are part of the team that serves New York's 20th Congressional District. I couldn't ask for a better team of co-workers. And I want to actually indicate the legacy of this award, really speaking to the determination, the grit, the resilience, and the passion of those that are part of the Down community. I love you all. You've taught me about how to meet challenges in life, and you do it with great gusto. So God bless you all. Thank you for the recognition.